You're watching The World Now on TVC News. Fighting between Thailand and Cambodia has spread to the coastal areas of a disputed border region. This is after U.S. President Donald Trump said both sides have agreed to a new ceasefire. Thailand's energy ministry says the government has halted exporting oil to Cambodia since June. The Southeast Asian neighbors have resorted to an armed conflict several times this year after a Cambodian soldier was killed in a skirmish in May. The intensified conflict has displaced hundreds of thousands of people on both sides of the border. A naval officer told journalists that Thailand's military commanders have been discussing blocking fuel exports to Cambodia, including designating maritime zones near Cambodia's ports as high risk. Last year, Thailand exported 2.2 billion liters of fuel to Cambodia. Well, joining me from the United Kingdom on World Now is Brian Reuben, Executive Chairman, 16th Council in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Thank you, Sergio. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about the ongoing conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. It has escalated despite efforts for peace, such as the recent ceasefire agreement facilitated by the United States President Donald Trump. What do you think are the underlying reasons these peace efforts have struggled to bring lasting stability?
Thank you very much. The underlying reason is execution. But this conflict didn't erupt overnight. It began with a deadly patrol clash in a disputed border zone in May. And you know that Cambodia and Thailand share this long, distant borderline, gray areas where they both patrol. But what we're seeing now is a shift from local border disputes to a strategic pressure, and particularly through energy and maritime signal. Thailand's consideration of blocking fuel, as we have seen in the news, fuel exports, is a clearer sign that this has moved beyond gunfire. Fuel is leverage. When energy becomes a tool, escalation has already occurred. So what we're seeing is the underlying factor is easy to pick up a phone and sue for peace and encourage people to lay down their arms. But if there is no clear framework, all right, such efforts will eventually not amount to much. That's what we're seeing here. It's an execution problem.
So let's talk about the role of external powers like the United States in influencing Thailand-Cambodia conflict. Is there a risk of such interventions undermining the sovereignty of the nations involved?
Not necessarily. Whether it is Trump or even the Asian, it's important that peace returns and people return to their homes. Over 500,000 has already fled. So it's important that there is that kind of intervention. It doesn't undermine the sovereignty of any of those countries. But what we are seeing here is a changed global system. Influence is no longer control. And if the influence has not even been able to bring about the peace everybody wants, that clearly shows as well that it's not sufficient as well to undermine the sovereignty of any of the nations involved, countries involved.
All right, so what diplomatic avenues could Thailand and Cambodia pursue to achieve a sustainable peace, especially given the long history of border tensions?
Could you say that again?
I was just asking what diplomatic avenues can both Thailand and Cambodia pursue to achieve a sustainable peace, especially given the long history of border tensions?
Well, it's clear that this is not about the Thailand. Not about the people of Thailand or people of Cambodia. It's really about the government. And what we're seeing is a situation where none of the parties wants to appear weak. So one is trying to make sure that their position is strong. So what I think is that both parties should understand the costs of war like this. The crisis has also exposed Asian weakness, because that could have been a really important body that could help bring about peace. We see that there is no binding conflict resolution mechanism. Statements are plentiful, but enforcement is absent. So both of them should go back and toward the path of peace, right? It's important that we have that this situation normalizes. The Thai people and the Cambodian people share a lot in common, historically, culturally. So that it's not really about the Thai people. It's about the government. And I believe that there is still a place for diplomacy. I believe there's still a place for them to sit down and realize that these issues can be resolved. These gray areas that's not really clearly defined, that's also where such bodies like ASEAN can come into play to help really let there be a clear demarcation of the border, But as I did say, it is escalation